Hey, what's going on YouTube? As you can see on the screen, there are many new Pokemon Black and White tier changes, and I put a 2 there because some of it's because of the additions of Black and White too. But anyways, looking at the screen, there is Mew, Deoxys-D, Abomasnow, Hippowdon, Scrafty, Mienshao, Porygon-Z, Nidoqueen, Scavalier, Snover, Magmortar, Quagsire, Metang, Cryogonal, Golurk, Raichu, Luxray, Leafeon, Electros, Duogen, Kangaskhan, Electabuzz, Lapras, Ampharos, Jumpluff, Piloswine, Ursaring, Linoon, Regice, Zebstrika, Gigalith, and Caracosta. Let's just get right into it because there are just so many going on right now. First off, we're going to talk about the changes to the OU tier. Now this one kind of caught me by surprise, but Mew has been moved up from UU to OU. And I think this is actually pretty good for the UU tier because, not saying Mew is overpowered, but it's kind of nice to see him move to OU so that we kind of get to see something else. So anyways, the reasons that I think, mainly for the fact that he has a huge move pool, just one of the biggest in the entire game, right next to Smeargle, but also it can sweep or it can support. And because of that, it is pretty unpredictable, and because of its stats, it can pretty much do just about anything. So next, Hippowdon has been moved up from BL to OU. Now this isn't a huge change, mainly for the fact that it doesn't really change anything at all, because BL basically means banned from UU, and now that he's moved from BL to the OU, it's basically just official now. And the main reasons, of course, he has very good physical bulk. His ability in the form of Sandstream is very good, allowing for a permanent Sandstorm. And he also has good recovery in the form of Slack Off and a very decent move pool. You know, Elemental Fangs, Stab Earthquake. It's very good. And he can Toxic Stall, he's very good Pokemon. Next, Abomasnow has been moved up from BL to OU. Same type of thing. Doesn't really change anything. Just makes it official that he is OU now. And of course his ability Snow Warning, allowing permanent hail. He's a very good Scarf user, which is kind of a mixed set typically with like Earthquake, Woodhammer, Hidden Power, Fire, and Blizzard, kind of mixed, but it's very good set still. And he's not usually used as a bulky variant, but he does have very usable stats for his HP and defenses. Next, Deoxys-D, same exact thing going on here still, moved up from BL to OU, just makes it official still, and of course he is very bulky, which we all know, and while he is bulky, he's one of the few that is pretty fast with a base, I want to say 95 speed or so, which is very good for a wall. Typically walls have the trade-off of losing a lot of speed, but that's not necessarily the case with Deoxys-D. He just has a little bit less HP. But it's all okay because he does have good recovery in the form of Recover, and that makes him even more difficult to take down if it wasn't already hard enough. So next, we're going to talk about the changes to the UU tier. Now this one was kind of unexpected, but it's pretty cool at the same time. Snover has been moved down from BL to UU, just like his evolution. Snow Warning is probably the main thing it's going to be using, of course. And someone mentioned that the Dream World ability being released, which is soundproof, Smogon probably doesn't see Snover as much of a threat. And he's not that bulky, but I'm sure with the Violite he could be a good bulky user with his ability. But like I said, Smogon probably won't see him as a threat, but we could be completely wrong about that. And this changes a lot for UU because now it is now able to use 2 different weathers, with Hippowdon and Snover, Hail and Sandstorm. So we have 2 different weathers in UU now, and that's pretty cool. Next, this one was kind of predicted a few times because a lot of people were saying that Scrafty would be moved down from OU to UU, and now it's official. And the main reason, in my opinion at least, is he's outclassed by Terrakion. We all know Terrakion is a powerhouse, and he's extremely strong. And, even after +1, with a Dragon Dance, Scrafty, I believe, fails to outspeed it. I'll put an annotation if that's wrong, but, even then, Scarf Terrakion can easily outspeed it then, smacking around with the close combat. But regardless, it's still a good Pokemon, and it can shine even more in UU. And as we all know, it can be a bulky sweeper with bulk up, or a faster sweeper, the Dragon Dance. So, kind of predicted, but the next one, not so much, but kind of. Mian moved also down from OU to UU, and once again, kind of outclassed by Terrakion, because it is faster, and it's still got that immense physical attack. But the thing about Mian is, I don't see this as a loss at all. I do think it is a pretty cool addition to UU tier, because with stab, high jump kick, and still having a good special attack stat, it could easily run a mix set like it usually has with HP Ice. But now, since it's being moved into the UU tier, I could easily see HP Ice being swapped out for HP Grass, of course for Swampert and Claydol. And of course, it's still a good scout with Fake Out and U-Turn, and it still has a good move pool. And next, we have Porygon-Z moved up from BL2 to UU. Now, this one, once again, kind of like the same deal with Abomasnow, Deoxys, and Hippowdon, doesn't really change anything for it. It was banned from RU, and it's just official now that it is UU. And of course, we all know it has a very good move pool and special attack. Choice items are very useful on this, Choice Specs making it a powerhouse, and Scarf making it a very good revenge killer. And we all know, and I'm sure it's happened to you, it can sweep an unprepared team. So yeah, Porygon-Z. Next, we're going to talk about the changes to the RU tier. Nidoqueen has been moved down from UU to RU. The main reason I see this happening is because it's kind of outclassed by other walls, such as Claydol in my opinion, because Claydol of course is immune to Earthquake while Nidoqueen is not, and they both hold that same electric immunity. So, they both can set up Stealth Rock, and, that's one of the main reasons I see it, but it's still a good support Pokemon, and it can easily shine more, like, as always, in the RU tier. Next, we're going to talk about Escavalier being moved also down from UU to RU. As we all know, it has a very, very shallow move pool, probably its two most powerful moves, Megahorn and Iron Head. That's not very good coverage at all. Sure, it gets stabbed, but it's resisted by a lot of things. And of course, in UU, it was easily KO'd by things like Darmanitan and Chandelure. If you could get prediction going on, it was pretty hard for it to stay around long. And just like Nidoqueen, I'm sure it can shine even more in RU. Next, we're going to talk about Magmortar, moved up from NU to RU. As we all know, it has a very good move pool, and I think one of the main reasons it was switched was because it seemed a little bit overpowered at times in NU. In my opinion, I'll say that a few times because, it was a good Pokemon. It still is, of course, but, with Tangela running around a lot in NU and certain things like Swellow, Choice Scarf users can do a lot of damage in NU, but now that it's moved to RU, I'm sure it could easily stay there, and like I said, it can be a very good choice user. Next, we're talking about Quagsire, moved up from NU to RU. We all know it has a good move pool. Its Dream World ability in the form of Unaware is actually very, very good for those who feel they are going to get swept by something that's been boosting in their face the whole time. And Quagsire can just come in, Toxic it, Earthquake it, or something, and, really help out the team avoiding dangerous threats. And, it is a good wall, and it also has good recovery, of course, using Recover. And next, we're going to talk about Cryogonal, also moved up from NU to RU. And as we all know, it's a good spinner, and it has very, very good special defense and decent usable special attack. It also has good recovery, and the reason this thing is such a good spinner is because it has Levitate. While it is weak to Stealth Rock, that's kind of overlooked because of the fact that it is immune to Toxic Spikes and Spikes with its ability, so it is only going to be taking damage from Stealth Rock. So next, Metang. Now this one was probably the weirdest switch, and I don't expect it to stay. At least I don't. I don't know what you guys think. But the main reason it was moved from PU, and if you're not aware what PU is, it's, pretty much never used. The never used of the never used. So it was moved from PU to RU. Of course, it's a good Stealth Rock setup and has very good bulk with Eviolite. And just like Metagross, it can switch into many things with its many resistances. And the main reason I don't think, though, that this thing will stay is because it was in PU and it jumped up a whole technically two tiers. PU isn't necessarily a tier, but it moved up two, and I don't really see that staying now that, like I said, Nidoqueen is now moved down into RU. Nidoqueen, still very good, but Metang probably going to go down to NU instead of staying at PU. So next, changes to the NU tier. Now these are plenty all over the place, but I'm only going to really talk about one that really mattered, and that's Golurk. Golurk has been moved down from RU to NU, and Cofagrigus kind of gave it a headache. Whenever it had Iron Fist, it would Shadow Punch it, get a decent amount of damage, but Cofagrigus is typically physically bulky, so it really wouldn't take too much, and then it would lose its Iron Fist ability, so not very good. But I kind of found this as a surprise because I do think that Golurk is underrated, because with Sub, Focus Punch, and once No Guard is released and all that, it's definitely going to be usable. But while it was a threat at some points in RU, it can easily become a threat in NU. Now these, I'm not really going to talk about too much at all because this isn't really a big deal, because PU, like I said, is not necessarily a tier, that's why it's in quotes, but all 12 of these have been moved from PU to NU, so technically jumped up a tier. Kangaskhan, Electabuzz, Lapras, Ampharos, Jumpluff, Piloswine, Ursaring, Linoone, Reggie, Substrika, Gigalith, and Carcosa. The most obvious one, in my opinion, was Linoone, mainly for the fact that Belly Drum and Extreme Speed massacred a lot of things in PU, and Metang was probably the only thing that could definitely stop it, so, that's a thing. Next, these are all the changes to the, quote, PU tier. All 5 of these, 3 being electric odd enough, have been moved down from NU to PU, and like I said, this isn't a big deal, and I'm not going to go into much detail because PU is technically not a tier. But anyways, I could just see, I'm kind of shocked about Electros because it does have a pretty decent move pool, but the rest of them are somewhat obvious. But hope you all enjoyed. Thank you guys for watching, and leave me a comment about what you guys think about the new tier changes later.